Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And tonight, joining me from rugby, Brad Inglis. Is it Inglis Rugby League wrap up? Sorry, there. It is Brad. How's it going, Brad? It's good to have you on the channel for the first time this year. And I've had you on the channel before actually, but it's been a while since I've had you on. But yeah, it's good to have you on the channel tonight. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to chatting about what was a good result in the weekend.
Yeah, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to review the round 17 fixture between the St George Illawarra Dragons and the New Zealand Warriors, which was played last Friday night. It was a very late one for those in New Zealand, very, very late evening kickoff for those over there. Had to stay up till, 10 o'clock start over there. So quite a latest one here, latest one over there. And over here it was about 8 o'clock here. So, it was quite a late kickoff for many of the viewers in New Zealand, but I'm sure it was all worth it, considering we won the game. But we'll go through the game, give our thoughts on the players that stood out, man of the matches, and I'll also do a player ratings at the end as well, and I'll ask some questions for Brad on this week as well as this week's game. So I'll just ask you some questions, actually, firstly, on this season so far, and I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Thoughts on the season so far and the massive turnaround of this club from the past couple of years, obviously going into this year. We had a new coach in Andrew Webster come on board. We had some new signings as well, a few players returning from last year as well. But what are your thoughts on the season so far as to date, as we're going into round 18 this weekend? What are your thoughts on the season as a whole so far?
Pleasantly surprised. As I was saying before we went live, in my preseason review, I picked optimistically the Warriors would be around 10th on the ladder by the time the end of the year. And going down a breakdown of how the games are going, up until round 10, I had them at maybe 1 win with 9 losses. So I wasn't giving them a lot of hope. And just the amount, the quick turnaround that Andrew Webster and the new players that they brought on board, everyone's brought in and are performing at a level I kind of expected in the second or third year of Webster's time with the club. So, pleasantly surprised. And as I was saying to you earlier, hopefully it just keeps going because it looks like they're building something special. So, got all the fingers and toes crossed for a successful run in the playoffs.
Yeah, so just have a pop into the chat here. Say hello to the Viking King, the Close staff as well, and the Ruin Hammer. It's good to see you guys are joining in here, saying evening, boys. He's talking about Brad here. Their main is looking amazing. Brad, sorry to see it go this week.
Yeah, so I'm raising money for cancer at the moment. Doing a shave for a cure thing that I've got on my Facebook page. This Friday before the Warriors game against the Rabbitohs, it's all getting shaved off. Raised about 1,300 so far. Hoping to get to 1,500 before Friday, but it'll be sad to see it go as well. It's been a long time.
Yep, awesome. Yeah, look, what has impressed you the most about the season to date for the club? Like, what has stood out for you the most in regards to? Is it the team culture, or is it the coaching of Webster? What has impressed you so far?
I think it's probably a bit of everything, but the culture, I guess, is probably the strongest thing. I think it's been a cliche for us for years that no game is guaranteed with the Warriors until that final whistle, and in the last 10 minutes of a game, no matter how far ahead the Warriors are, they can still lose it. We don't have that anymore. We kind of know the last 20 minutes of a game, the Warriors are going to step up a gear, which I can't recall the last time we've said that. So I think that mentality and mental toughness is probably the biggest aspect that's changed with the club.
Yep. Well said there. Yeah, look, I think it's been, from what I thought at the start of the year, I thought this was going to be like a year where we'd be rebuilding, but now we're in a position where a lot of people, like myself included, probably weren't going to say this, but now we're in, a chance to maybe make the top 4 this year, which is, crazy to even say that. We're in a position at the moment. So, I think the turnaround of the coaching staff, Andrew Webster, And, what he's bringing to the side is, the team's playing a lot more with confidence. You can see lots of Sean Johnson being really much more happier than what he is when he was a couple of years ago. And, the fruits are paying off, actually. So it's good to see, and long may it continue. So, yeah, we'll get into the review now, actually, of the game, which happened on Friday night. So the Warriors came into this game, obviously came off that win over the I think it was who was it? I think it was
the Raiders.
Raiders, yeah, the Raiders. Yeah, that's right. Raiders, yeah, thank you. Yeah. We had a win over the Raiders. It was a very impressive win over there in Canberra. The Dragons come into this game with, a lot of, drama, Ben Hunt, a lot of talk around Ben Hunt, what's going to happen there. There's a lot of distractions with the Dragons. They're struggling this year. And going into this game, I thought, look, obviously this is a game where we should win on form. What were your feelings, Brad? Obviously, because, the Dragons just weren't going great. And obviously we know you're not a fan of the Dragons.
No.
Yeah. So
no, yeah.
what are your feelings going into this?
I hate the Dragons, and a big part of the reason I hate them is their impressive record against the Warriors. No matter how good or bad the Dragons are going, they always seem to be able to find something in them to just embarrass the Warriors, especially playing at home in Wollongong. It was probably the most confident I've been in a Warriors win in Wollongong in a long time. I think I predicted them to win by 18 in my prediction. And I was even off the mark with that. And I thought 18 points was, a bit far ahead of myself. But I think there was a lot of stuff happening off the field with the Dragons. They've been a mess all year. And Ben Hunt with his whole situation right now, I was surprised they had him playing, but you could even see in the game that he hasn't got his heart in it. So as soon as you saw that, you kind of knew the Dragons were going to fall apart. They looked good in the first 20, though. I'll give them credit where it's due. Yeah. But, they just weren't going to be able to stand up mentally for 80 minutes.
Yeah, and just going through the game for the first half here, that the Warriors scored the opening try there too. Was Darlin Watini-Zalesniak, and we were up 4-0 there in the 13th minute. What were your thoughts on that opening try that we scored?
Yeah, it was good. I thought they went to the edges a bit early than I thought they would, but they saw that the Dragons have kind of been renowned this year to be a bit weak on the edges. So wasn't a surprise to see them go that far early. It was just surprising to see that it actually worked so quick.
Yeah, I thought it was a great try. Sean Johnson there combining very well there, Wade Egan and C&K, obviously all part of the combination to score that opening try 4-0 in the 13th minute. So a very good start by the Warriors there down there in Wollongong. And then the Dragons, Tyrone Sloan, uses his pace there, and he get past Marcelo Montoya there, and there was a bit of a missed tackle from Adam Pompey that led to that try. And Tyrell Sloan, that was a very probably a try that it was very hard to prevent. Tyrell Sloan, very fast, quick player. What were your thoughts on that try that we conceded? Because we started off pretty well, but then the Dragons got a try back. What were your thoughts there on that one?
Yeah, I think the Warriors maybe for some reason went in expecting to win because it's the Dragons and they're a lowly team right now. And guys, they've got like Tyrell Sloan, and that as bad as they're going, they're very dangerous. And before this try, he had a couple other runs where he kind of made some half breaks and looked dangerous. And then you knew eventually he was just going to get the Warriors to bite at the wrong time and execute. And that's what we saw here. He just picked a moment with Pompey and Marcelo, and he was gone. And thankfully, he wasn't able to replicate that after that. But he's a very talented player, and unfortunately, he's just stuck in a crap team.
Yeah, so he scores a try there, and then the Dragons take a 6-4 lead after 15 minutes. And then in the 26th minute there, Sean Johnson again combined pretty well there. Luke Metcalf bounced pass here to Marcelo Montoya, and he goes over in the left-hand corner, beating Lomax and Tyrell Sloan to put the ball down there. So what were your thoughts there on that movement there by the Warriors?
Yeah, it was good to see Luke Metcalf show a bit of his passing game. He's kind of just settled into being like the assistant to Sean in his time, just filling in where he can, but to spot a bit of an overlap and just throw the Harbour Bridge pass almost. He didn't have the power on it, so it did that little bounce, but it was a good pass to Montoya. Did well to pick it up on the fly and take advantage. So it was good to see it's all not resting on Sean like we used to see so many years in the past. There are other players out there that can create opportunities. So, yeah, very happy to see Luke do that, especially with Tamari Martin returning. He kind of needed to make a statement. So he may have made Webster think a bit more before he names the team tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. And Tamari Martin, obviously, he's set to come back soon. So, Luke Metcalf's obviously going to try and do his best to try and keep that spot in the side. So, just going through the comment here, the Clove stuff saying, can't believe the Dragons are willing to dig the heels in with Ben Hunt. On Friday, he looked completely disinterested. Can you imagine what he'd be like for the rest of the season? Yeah, well, what is your thoughts on that comment?
Yeah, well, I think he's given up. I know the news today came out that the Dragons are trying to force him to see out his contract. Yeah. I expect them to announce that they're going to release him at the end of the season. But yeah, if he keeps playing the way he did in the weekend, you can almost guarantee, a spoon for the Dragons by the end because he is their best player. And if he's not interested, what are they going to do?
Yep. Yeah, just going to look at this one here. I've got a super chat from YouTube here. The Viking King for the $8. Thanks for the $8 there. He's saying here, all the best for the Warriors this season. Fanatics. Cheers, the Viking King. And the Viking King is a Canberra Raiders supporter. So, yeah, all the best to the Raiders there as well. So, just looking into the chat here, Richie Sterling's joined us. How's it going, Richie Sterling? Good to see you in the chat. He's saying, evening, boys. And we'll go for another comment before going back into the review. So, the Clove staff saying you'd be gone at the end of the year regardless, Jacko. There's a relationship that you can't repair. So, yeah. Fair enough on that one. But, yeah, so 8-6, the Warriors led there. Got back in the lead. Just go back on my comment. So, where was I? Yeah, 8-6. Straight after that, Bailey Seranen scores for the Warriors on the next play there. 14-6, the Warriors extend their lead. So, what were your thoughts on that try there? Sean Johnson, obviously, with a kick there. And Bailey Seranen, Rick Evers, he scores. So, what were your thoughts on that moment there for the try?
Yeah, it's I think it was more down to the Dragons being disorganized on defense, not having a sweeper in there for that kick. You could kind of see from miles away that a kick was coming through, and I think it didn't matter who was running that line. Whoever it was going to score that try untouched, and it was Seranen that got it this time. But it was just good. We'll keep talking about the tries as they come, but it wasn't all just trying to score a try one way. There were different ways that Sean and co were probing the Dragons' attack. So seeing the grubber come through, which we haven't seen too much this year, it was good to see because it leaves a lot of teams a bit messed up. So, yeah, good to see and credit to Seranen for cleaning it up.
Yep, and just on Seranen, the Clove stuff's made a comment here. He's saying here, Seranen has been enormous. The last few weeks, you can see he's really developing. Yeah, which is good actually because I wasn't too fond of Seranen actually. I didn't think of him much, but I think he's been playing a little bit, better to what I've been thinking. This year actually, I think he's coming in a few positions. He's been covering a few positions as well, so that's not been easy. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on Seranen?
Yeah, I haven't been Serenen's biggest fan with the time he's been with the club, but this year he's really stepped it up. He's got that utility factor in him where you can kind of throw him anywhere, and he's not going to be amazing in every position you put him in, but he's going to be serviceable. And with the amount of injuries and suspensions, some binnings that the Warriors have had, a player like him has actually been really valuable this year. Odds are he's probably not going to be the Warriors next year, but if I hear that they offer him a deal to stay on, I wouldn't be upset. I think, he's done more than enough to get a job in the NRL, whether with the Warriors or with another club.
Yep. So Warriors extend their lead up to 14-16, and they continue to pile on the points. Jackson Ford scores against his former side on the Dragons, 18-6. It was good to see Jackson Ford get across the try line there. What are your thoughts there on that one, Brad?
It was a very good try, actually. Just it showed the I'm sure, how do you word it? His ability to think of being able to just get in there and rip the ball off Dylan Walker when he did. I was worried that they were going to try to take it away from them, but when you saw it on the replay, it was clean. And just a great moment of instinct from Ford, who's been a standout this year.
Yeah, just on some of these comments just reading here. So Jacko's saying here that CHT will replace Siren, and the Clove stuff saying here Jackson Ford sticking it to his former club, which was a highlight. Yeah, and I thought his performance in that first half was very good, and overall in the game as well. So yeah, look, there we at 18 points to 6 was the score, and then Sean Johnson converts to make it 20 points to 6. He missed quite a few conversions actually in this game, so his kicking was a bit off in this one. But halftime it was 20 points to 6. The Warriors led. Overall, what were your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit rusty and clunky. It gave me, at the start, the first 20 minutes kind of gave me flashbacks to the Napier game, where the Warriors were kind of making shortcuts and just expecting everything to happen. But then it was around the time when Dylan Walker came onto the field that everything started to click, and they started to look like the Warriors team that we've seen the last month. So yeah, I was a bit upset and disappointed in the first 20, but the second 20 was a lot better. And as we were about to talk about it, it just kept getting better and better. So yeah, iffy on the first 20 and happy with the second 20.
Yeah, I probably have to agree on what you said there in regards to the start was pretty good, but then we had some moments where we're a little bit, shaky in terms of our attack. Obviously, Webster said in the post game that their attack was good in patches, and there was patches where they weren't great as well. So I agree. I thought our attack was a little bit clunky at the start, but we did see in the second half, which we'll go through now, which it was a lot better. But yeah, look, the second half. So the second half began, and it was 45th minute there, and Jacob Little with a little bit of a show and go there to a fresh Dane Musgrove off the bench. And Dragons get the opening points in the second half, which was probably very much needed. They need to get the first points for their sake to get back in the game. But for us, I don't think it was great for us at all. But yeah, the lead went back to 8 points, 20 points to 12. And what your thoughts there, Brad? Did you feel like 20 points to 12, the Dragons may get some confidence on that, or was it just us clocking off there? What were your thoughts?
I kind of expected it after Niokore got sin-binned. I thought maybe they'd leak a try, and it was soft still. But yeah, a big forward like Musgrove, fresh off the bench, kind of has a bit more oomph. So yeah, disappointing to see them get the try, but I kind of thought that was going to be the last time we'd see them score. I was wrong, but I kind of wiped it away. It was a one-man advantage they had, and saying if we can concede one try in that 10-minute period, I'm fine with it.
Yep, yeah, and just on that actually, Murata Niokore, what were your thoughts on the sin bin there? What were your thoughts on it? Did you think that was the decision that went against us? Do you think that was a harsh decision, or do you think that was how did you feel regards to that decision there with Murata Niokore?
Yeah, I thought it was harsh. I think nothing would have happened if Moses Sully didn't get hurt. So Niokore was getting punished for the injury as opposed to the action. And 9 times out of 10, that tackle is going to be just ignored. And unfortunately, Murata's wearing a Warriors jersey, so that doesn't happen.
Yep. And the close staff is saying, I think we initially came into this game with a mindset that we're just going to be cute and get the job done. The moment we showed aggression, it was all one-way traffic. Yeah, I do agree with you there on that comment, the close stuff. I think going into this one, maybe there was a little bit of, I don't know if that was the case, but I think maybe in my opinion, I thought there was maybe a time where we looked like we were pushing the pass a little bit and didn't come off. But yeah, what were your thoughts on that, Brad?
Yeah, I think that's kind of like what I was saying. It was a bit like the Napier game. They thought everything was going to get easy, and then the moment they realised that Napier approach, didn't work, they switched. And once they switched, there was no stopping them.
Yep. And just going through a comment here, which I'll ask you on this one actually. Jacko here is saying that Niokore is going to get a 3-week suspension. I'll just put up the banner here. So Moran Niokore is facing 3-week suspension for Achilles high tackle Moses Sully. So what are your thoughts there on the tackle? And do you think the Warriors will challenge us, or do you think they will take the early guilty plea? What are your thoughts on it?
So the tackle I thought was completely fine. They won't fight it. Because if they fight it and lose, he'll get 4 weeks. 3 weeks is very rough as well. But he'll spend his time being suspended. Mitch Barnett comes back, so it's almost a like for like there. It's unfortunate, but them's the breaks really. So while I don't agree with the call, I think it would be silly of them trying to fight it and risk that extra week.
Yeah, and the close stuff saying unfortunately Niokore has loading points, but to get 3 weeks for that tackle that happens every week is mind-boggling, which I agree. The close stuff. I don't think there was much in that tackle at all, to be honest. I think it's a bit harsh personally. That's what I believe. So anyway, back to the game. So look, obviously 20 points to 12 there. Then the 48th minute, the Warriors managed to get another piece of possession down the Dragons' line. So it was great hands there from Adam Fanua-Blake in the lead up to that try. She was Berry there and Dylan Watini-Selesny with CNK combined for that try. Adam Fanua-Blake with that, I think it was that step that he made on one of the Dragons players. But what were your thoughts on that try there that the Warriors scored there through to score that try? What are your thoughts on that play?
It's just good seeing the I think a big difference in the Warriors compared to other teams competing for playoffs is their ability in the forwards to have that short passing game. So Adam Tohu is a big component of it as well, but they just add a little bit more dimension to the attack, which opens up spaces out wide, which is what we see. Exactly, this game was a great example of it with Dallin getting the 4 overall. But having guys like Tohu and Adam creating a bit of mischief in the middle just opens up spaces. And then CNK, SJ and all that, they just know how to put their outside backs into positions.
So that try extended the Warriors' lead up to 24 points to 12, actually. So the Adam Fanua-Blake step wasn't actually that play. It was the next set, sorry. So my apologies there. So my correction will be the next set. So, it was 24 points to 12 there. The 53rd minute there. The next play here actually was pretty good, pretty awesome, actually. I really enjoyed this play from us. Dylan Walker's been very good coming off the bench. His impact's been great. So it was great seeing him. It's great seeing him back in the side over the past couple of weeks. So Dylan Walker, he's been very impressive this year, actually. So, look, Adam Fanua-Blake, this is the moment here where Dylan Walker, he put a ball to Adam Fanua-Blake, and Adam Fanua-Blake here stands in the tackle, right foot step, offloads to Sean Johnson, and Sean Johnson, like all halfbacks do, back up their plays, back up their forwards here, and he scores a try. And it's 30 points to 12 in the 56th minute. This is pretty much where I think the game's over now. What are your thoughts here on this play, Brad? I thought it was a great sort of play there by Adam Fanua-Blake and all the players, pretty much all the key players combining there.
Yeah, I thought Adam Fanor-Blake is so great when he gets to the line with his quick shift. Rather than being that traditional front rower that just bulldozes, he gets his post-contact meters by just slightly changing at the point of contact and going through. And I've been wanting all year to see him be able to utilize that offload a bit more. He hasn't really done it a lot this year, but when he is allowed to, like we saw in this is what happens. You've got guys like Sean. It worked for Sean this time. Other times you see Chance is sitting right off his shoulder. If he can do that a bit more in some of these other more tough games coming up, I think it could really open up scoring potentials, which is what the Warriors are going to need against, the Rabbitohs, the Eels, and all that are coming up soon.
Yeah, and just on Adam Fanor-Blake, I want to hear your opinion on this. Do you reckon Adam Fanor-Blake right now is one of the top props in the game? Because a lot of people are saying Payne Haas is number one. Would you put Adam Fanor-Blake right up there right now based on form?
Based on form, I'd have him second behind Payne Haas. Payne Haas is just at another level. Adam's very close. It's a fight, but I think Payne Haas is just one hell of an athlete. But yeah, I wouldn't be letting AFB go anytime soon if I was the Warriors. I'd be locking him down forever. I know he's got like another 3-4 years on his contract, but I've been making sure that he retires here.
Yep, yeah, and the closest I was saying here, AFB's having the ball playing skills is something of beauty, and he's also saying here that Walker changed the whole speed of the game the moment he came on. So yeah, I agree there. And the closest I was saying, AFB top 2. So yeah, the scoreline was 30 points to 12 there, and then Rocket Berry goes over to score a try as well to make it 36 to 12, and from there on it was pretty much point scoring affair there. Warriors pretty much going on with it really. Probably could have scored 50. They were very close there, but 48-18, we'll take it. Good score, and pretty much a place where we struggled in over the past couple of years. So, what were your general overall thoughts on the game? And what really stood out for you in the end of that score?
As I said, the only negative I had on this game was that first 20. That last 60 was extremely good, and the further it got on, the more clinical I felt the Warriors got, and not the best opposition, but how many times in the past have we talked about the Warriors stepping up and playing well against like the Storm and these top tier teams, and then sinking to the same level as those bottom of the barrel teams. So this was the perfect opportunity for the Warriors to have like a 20-12 win and just really look like they're not contenders. So we needed to see them put on a big score against a bottom of the barrel team. That's what they did. The fact that I don't think they played that well, but still put on, almost 50 points is a testament to how dangerous this team can be with ball in hand. So I don't think it was their best performance of the year, but love seeing them put this many points on the Dragons though.
Yep. So let's just go through the try scorers. So we had Warriors with 9 tries, Dragons with 3. Tyrell Sloan there for the Dragons, Zane Musgrove, and Francis Molo for the Dragons there. And for the Warriors, we had Dylan Watini-Zelezniak. Now, he scored 4 tries in this game, and it was very close to equaling Francis Melly's try scoring record, but just one off there. Dylan Watini-Zelezniak was incredible. 4 tries. What are your thoughts there on DWZ? What were your thoughts on his performance?
He's just really hit his form this year. He scored, I think that was 12 tries in 9 games. So, he had that injury layoff at the start of the year, and, there were a lot of people going, oh, do you bring him back in? Ed Cossey's doing well. But he's just made every post a winner this year. And I wasn't always his biggest fan. I thought he made too many errors for my liking. He was always a bit questionable under the high ball, but at the moment he might make 1 or 2 errors a game, but if he's scoring 2 or 3 tries, it kind of it's worth it. So very happy with how he's gone this year.
Yeah, so Dallin with his Lensing, he scored 4 tries there. Montoya scored, Bailey Serin as well, Sean Johnson and Rocco Berry there. Sean Johnson there with 6 from 9 conversions there. So that's the info there. But standout players, Brad. Who were your standout players in this game?
Dallin, of course.
Yep.
I thought Adam Fanua-Blake was really great too. SJ Chance and Jackson Ford, I thought, had a real strong game against his former club.
Yep, yeah. I thought, so just going through my standout players now. Give me a sec. Find them. There they are. Okay. So my standout players, obviously, Dallin Martinez-Lesniak there with 4 tries. AFB there in the forwards. Jackson Ford was great as well. I thought Sean Johnson as well led the way on the field there with his kicking game. And those are pretty much my standout players. And I thought Berry as well, Rocky Berry, I thought had a pretty solid game as well in the centres there as well, scoring a try. So those were my standout players for me. So we'll look into the game stats. So I'll go through the game stats now. So there we are. So Dragons, we had 45% of possession with the Warriors 55%. Completion rates, the Dragons were 70% with 26 out of 37. Warriors 72% with 29 out of 40. All running meters, Dragons with 1,243 meters. Warriors with 1,780 meters. And the post-contact meters for the Dragons, 343. To the Warriors, 462. Tackle breaks, Dragons 27, their Warriors 32. And offloads 14. To the Warriors, Dragons 7. And missed tackles. So missed tackles there was Dragons 32, Warriors 27. Errors 14, Dragons. Warriors 12. Ruck infringements, so the Warriors 3, Dragons 1. On report, 1 for the Warriors, obviously with Niokore and Sinbin Niokore there. So what are your general thoughts on those stats?
It's kind of what you expect to see the Warriors dominate everything because of the scoreline. I was a bit concerned with the errors. I think a lot of that came at the start when they were kind of pushing things a bit too much. Missing 27 tackles isn't great, but it's they missed that first initial contact and someone's there to clean it up. So the fact that the missed tackles aren't converting into tries is a real plus for the Warriors. And it just showed how lethal their attack was with all the tackle breaks and line breaks. I think Dallin himself got 4 or 5 himself on his own. So real big night for him. But it was a pretty dominant performance stats wise. So very happy.
Yep, and just reading comment here, the close stuff. Montoya is currently solid on defence, but don't want that error costing us in a big game. He does have a few errors in his game. He can be very good, but he can also have an error in his game. What are your thoughts there on that comment, Brad?
He's a bit like Dallin in that aspect where you can expect 2 or 3 errors out of him. I think he's kind of brought it down to 1 or 2. But it's that risk reward thing. You're going to get some hard runs out of the Warriors' own half, a try, maybe 1 or 2 tries out of him in exchange for that errors.
Yep.
So it's that risk reward. I'm happy to have him out there doing the job because I think the team's good enough that if a player makes a mistake like Montoya, the team's going to get around and actually stop the opposition from converting that mistake into an opportunity to score. So it's that risk reward. But he's getting better with it. He's not as much of a risk as he used to be. Yep.
And we've got a super chat here from YouTube from Richie Sterling, New Zealand dollars here, $8.99. So thanks to Richie there for the donation. He's just asking a question here, actually. He's asking a question to me. This is interesting. So you're saying, Christian, what are your thoughts on Brad's favourite player? Sorry, I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. Yeah.
Feta Palestina.
Palestina. Yeah. Look, I didn't see him play, obviously, because I was born in 96, so yeah, I only started supporting the Warriors, and I started supporting the Warriors in 2000. So yeah, I probably can't remember back then, obviously. So yeah, I probably can't really comment on that one, but yeah, he's your favourite player, isn't he?
He is, yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, he was a great prop. He was kind of that off the back fence runner that everyone wants the guys like Bunty and that to be. But yeah, he's my favorite.
Yep. Just looking at the comments here. Yep. Okay. So we'll go into the man of the match now. So your man of the match. So man of the match 3, 2, 1. So Brad, what's your 3, 2, 1 for this game?
So I posted my review today.
Yep.
My 3 I gave to Dallin. My 2 I gave to Adam Fanor-Blake, and my 1 I gave to SJ. It was real hard. There was quite a few players that could have got in there, but they were the ones I decided on Friday night before I went to bed.
Yeah. This one was difficult as well. I had to go back and have a think about it for a couple of times. But so my 3, I'm actually going to change it. I originally had Shaun Johnson at 3, but I'm going to go with Jackson Ford. Actually, I'm going to put him in there. I thought Jackson Ford was actually pretty impressive when I think about it. So yeah, I watched back the game today. Watched the replay of it on the NRL website. So just to get ready for this review. But yeah, I'll go with 3 Jackson Ford, and 2 I'm going to go with. I'll go with Shaun Johnson, and number 1 I'm going to go with DWZ. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go with DWZ for the man of the match for me. So that's my 3, 2, 1. So yeah, we'll move on to the next part now. So the next part will be the player ratings. So we'll go through the side and we'll give a rating out of 10 for each player. So fullback was Chance Nickel-Klugstad, CNK. Overall, I'm probably going to give him a 7 out of 10. What about you, Brad? What are your thoughts on CNK's performance?
I went a little bit more positive and gave him an 8.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he played well.
Yep. Yeah, I think it was a very good game from CNK, and we saw that he played pretty well against the Raiders as well. So yeah, for me, 7, and you've gone with an 8 there. Dallin Witchinese-Zelezniak on the wing. Oh, this one's a pretty easy one for me. I'm going to go with a 9. What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I'm the same. I got him at a 9.
Yep, 9 out of 10 for me, and 9 for Brad. Rocco Berry. I'll actually give him a 7 here. I thought it was pretty good, actually. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. What about you?
Yeah, I'm the same, actually. I got him at 7 as well on my list here.
7. And Adam Pompey. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 6. What about you?
Yeah, I was a little bit nicer. I gave him a 6.5.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep, 6 for me, 6.5 for you. Marcelo Montoya. I am going to give Marcelo Montoya 7. What about you?
Yeah, I've got him 7 too, actually. Yeah, you're copying my answers here. So yeah, I gave him a 7.
7. Luke Metcalf. I'm going to actually give Luke Metcalf here a 7 as well. I thought Luke Metcalf actually played pretty well. So 7 out of 10 for me. What about you?
Yeah, I got 7 as well. Yeah, I thought he did not enough to push him to an 8, but definitely nothing that I'd say was like a 5 or 6.
Shaun Johnson, halfback there. I'm going to give Shaun an 8 out of 10. And yourself?
Yeah, I gave him an 8.5.
Adam Fanor-Blake, I'll give him an 8 here, 8 out of 10. Another very good, strong performance there from AFB. What about you?
Yeah, I might be biased as a former front rower, but I gave him a 9.
Yep. Wade Egan. I'm actually going to give him a 7. What about you?
I gave him a 7 as well.
Bunty Afoa. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10. What about you?
Yeah, I only gave him 6. I've been a bit harsh on Bunty this year, but he got more minutes this week. But I think I could go on for hours about it. I think the way they've decided to use him is completely different to how I expect him to be used. So he's more of a defensive player now than giving him the ball, making him run. So yeah, have to give him a 6 because I just like seeing my props run it.
Yeah, Jackson Ford, I thought it was a very good performance by him up against his former side in the Dragons. I'm going to give Jackson Ford a 7. What about you, Brad?
I gave him an 8.
Oh, an 8. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't argue against it, actually. I think it's very strong. Murata Niokore. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. What about you?
I gave him an 8 as well. I thought he was very strong, and him injuring Moses Sully opened up that edge to get all those points.
And the lock captain himself, Tohu Harris, I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, I gave him an 8.5.
To the bench now. So we had Dylan Walker in the 14. Dylan Walker, I thought, was very strong, came to the bench. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 from me.
Yeah, I got a 7.5.
Josh Curran. Yeah, look, I think Josh Curran was all right. I'll just give him a 6. What about you?
I gave him 7.
7?
I'm being very nice.
Bailey Serenin. I'll
give
him a 7. What about you?
Yeah, I gave him a 7 as well.
And Tom Arley. I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
I gave him a 5. No reflection on him. He only got 17 minutes. Did what he could, but it's not a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's not a lot of time there. So those are the ratings there. So just on to now this week. This week's game. We've got the Bunnies on Friday night. So obviously we're going to have no Murata Niokore. He's going to be missing this week's game. So Brad, just on the team this week for tomorrow, when teamless get named tomorrow afternoon, what changes do you think will be made for this week's game? What changes do you see happening?
I think Barnett will come straight in for Niokore as a straight swap. It all depends on Tamari Martin. If he's ready to go, I think Webby will bring him in for Metcalf. And what they do to the bench, I think everyone else would stay the same. But what they do with the bench, depending on if they want to keep Metcalf in the 17, if they bring Tamari in, does he come onto the bench at the expense of like an Ali, and they make Bunty play more minutes? I'm not sure. The only thing I can really definitively say is the Barnett for Niokore.
Yeah. And Tamari Martin, I don't know, is I think he's still a couple of weeks away. I thought it was going to be back next week, the previous week, but he wasn't. So I think he's still only a couple of weeks away there. So what do you think will happen? Like, do you think when Tamari Martin is fit, do you think that he will be named to play, or do you think they'll play him in a few games of New South Wales Cup before like getting him into the side? What do you think is going to happen? Because Metcalf's not doing anything wrong. He's playing very well, Metcalf. So what do you think is going to happen there?
I think they'll bring him straight in. He's one of those players that isn't going to go to a reserve grade, like the Tohus, Barnetts, and the like. They just come straight back in. Metcalf hasn't been doing a lot wrong, as he said, but I think Tamari has got an edge on him defensively, and has got that experience. So I think it's not a bad thing for Metcalf to take a back seat to him. In all honesty, we want to win a premiership, right? So I think Tamari is going to make it a bit easier for that to actually happen. But Metcalf, if they can find a spot for him on the bench to add some spark, it'd be good. If not, it's some great experience for him before he eventually becomes a permanent first grader in the future.
Yep, yeah, and the close stuff saying I heard that Tamari Martins is a bit behind schedule. So yeah, that's very interesting there. But yeah, it's going to be obviously big game this week down there at Go Meter Stadium, Mount Smith Stadium on Friday night, sold out crowd, which will be awesome. Brad, you heading to the game this week?
Yep. Yeah, I'm a season ticket holder, so I go to all the games. Yep. And our producer on our show, The Standoff, Paul, he's a big Union guy. It's going to be his first Warriors game. I've managed to talk him into coming up. So he's joining me to come watch the game. And yeah, packed house, which will be awesome. Especially, it's always good on a Friday night, those games. It's a good time. And yeah, hopefully the Warriors step up for it.
Yeah, just on that, can I get a quick prediction? Obviously, no teams out yet, but what do you think? Do you think this week's game? Because I'm seeing, obviously we're seeing the bunnies. The other day, getting towed up there. What do you feel like going into this game? Do you think, obviously, the bunnies? Do you think they're going to come back, and make it obviously, will they be as good, better this week? After last week's disappointment, do you think they'll be fired up, or what are you expecting out of the game, out of the bunnies and us in general?
You can, I know they lost. You can never take them lightly.
Yep.
But I think the Warriors are in a good position to get the job done here. So I've actually predicted them to win by 8 over the bunnies. But the bunnies are a dangerous team. It all comes down to how well they can stop Cody Walker. If they don't stop Cody Walker, then they're in trouble. He's very dangerous. I know Latrell's not probably going to be playing. I know they say he's out for a couple more weeks. But yeah, Cody Walker and Alex Johnston are still dangerous. So I think the Warriors will get it done, but it's not going to be easy.
Yep. Yeah, and on this game, you think if we win this game, do you reckon that will signal the attention that we could make the top 4? Do you think that winning this game will put us in that picture, to be contenders for the top 4 at the end of the year?
I think they're definitely a top 4 contender at the moment.
Yep.
We've got Rabbits. I think like in the next couple of weeks, it's Rabbits, Eels, and a few other of those teams. If they can go in and win, like in the next 4, win like 3 out of the 4, then they're definitely in the running. But it's these type of games that are going to really separate their the big men from the little ones when it comes to this top 4 spot. So they just need to keep nailing every opportunity they get.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, like, I think this game this week, if we can beat the bunnies and, round it up with, obviously, we've got Parramatta away. That'll be a pretty difficult game. And we've got lots of the Sharks and the Raiders at home, which I think they're winnable. They're very winnable games, those games, because we've bet the Sharks and the Raiders this year. And, we've been able to, find a way to beat those two sides. So, I mean, those 2 games, I think, are definitely winnable at home. Then you've got the Eels away as well, so that will be difficult. But I think this game against the Bunnies will show, where this team is at. And I think if they beat the Bunnies, I think I'm going to say we'll be top 4, contenders. I think for me. But anyways, look, Brad, really much like to thank you for coming on. It's been a joy to have you on tonight and having a chat about the game, reviewing the win. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can carry on this great form and, maybe push for that top 4 spot. But thanks, Brad, for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Great to come on and chat about the Warriors.
No worries. And I'd also like to thank all the viewers for watching and tuning in and, interacting in the live chat with your comments and your questions as well. It's been a joy to have you here watching, and I really do appreciate the support as well. So, if you haven't done so already, make sure you go and check out Brad Inger's work here, the Inger's League Wrap-Up. He's also on all the platforms there of, Facebook, got a Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, all those platforms is where we can find you, right?
Yeah, definitely. All on them. Inger's League Wrap-Up on Facebook, and on Instagram and Twitter, I think it's under Brad Inger 3. But yeah, I try to post stuff every couple of days during the season, and then Wednesday nights I have my show on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm always around. If you're interested, come have a look.
Yep. So Wednesday night there on the New Zealand Sports Radio Facebook page, the league, the standoff. It's called the Standoff there with Brad and Richie, who was in the chat earlier there. So come go and give those boys the support and go and check out their show every Wednesday night. Actually, it's a bit of rugby league, and they're passionate rugby league fans, and they chat a lot about the NRL and that. So go and give them a watch. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Like I said there, thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video, like the live stream back, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. I'll be back tomorrow night at 7:30 Australian time, 10:30 p.m. New Zealand time, with a special guest, CJ Moxley, who's a South Sydney Rabbitohs supporter, and we're going to preview the New Zealand Warriors South Sydney Rabbitohs game tomorrow night. So cheers everyone for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Have a good one.
Cheers. Night everyone.
Cheers.